So tell me, Doctor Squee, who's it gonna be this time? We like to hear you talk, and we love to hear you listen. And if you are not subscribed, you won't know what you're missing. So welcome to the Doctor Squee Show. Welcome to the Doctor Squee Show. Welcome to the Doctor Squee Show. Headphones up, here we go.
Hello and welcome to the Doctor Squee Show. I'm Doctor Squee. This is my show. Guys, I will admit this is a pre-recorded episode today. I'll prove it by not holding up today's newspaper. I can't because it's pre-recorded. You see how that works? And I would like to, I don't say this often enough, but I'd like to thank Matt Lees for that wonderful intro to the show, a wonderful theme tune. Please check him out online, Matt Lees Music. But let's get on to today's show. So I'm welcoming now one half of the production team, the people who brought into life SW20 Radio, where the audio version of this show goes out. Please welcome to the Doctor Squee Show, Chris Jones.
Hello, how are you?
How you doing, boss?
I'm good, thank you. Nice to chat to you. All good with you?
I understand. Yeah, very well, thank you. I understand home alone on a rare occasion.
I know it's a rare treat. Usually a jam-packed morning, jam-packed weekend, but fortunately, I've a few things got cancelled, which meant that A, I could be home alone, and B, sit down and have a chat with you.
Yeah, I mean, I've got actually my fiance's going out, so for once I'm going to have the house to myself, and I'm going out because I just can't handle that. I can't imagine what it's like to have a house to yourself. So I'm taking the dog around some friends.
Yeah, no, I'll take the dog out at some point as well. But yeah, it's usually that kind of, that rarity and that it's like a luxury. And I try to think of all the things that I can do and take advantage of. But then I end up doing nothing because I end up overthinking it, and then the time's elapsed. So I'll make sure I'll be productive and put it to good use.
Have a nap in front of Netflix. I'm sure you've earned it.
Exactly.
So we're here to talk, of course, about SW20, the new sound of South Wales. So how did the idea come about? I just think it's insane because before I was on SW20, I was on the Bear.live, which another friend of mine set up. That station lasted for a year, which I still think is an amazing achievement in of itself. Yeah. But you create a radio station out of nothing, which is still going strong. A year and a half in, is it about now?
It's just shy of 2 years. It'll be 2 years in April that we officially launched. So it's mad. It's flown by, and like you said, still here, still growing and super strong as well. So it's and that's testament to kind of the people and the team that are around us as well. So the enthusiasm, the vast skills and interest that the guys bring to the shows and the content that we've got. So yeah, it's really exciting. Still love it.
And how did you first start the station? Where did the idea first come from?
So set up by Barry and myself, my co-founder. So Barry and I are family, and we were previously involved in radio prior to SW20 Radio. Both of us on a small online community station in a different part of South Wales. So various routes to get into that point. I got into that through Barry, and then I don't know. I suppose just creative thoughts and ideas come to our heads, and then I don't know if that kind of kicks in an entrepreneur gene that lives inside us somewhere. I don't know, but we just started talking about it, and imagining that all the ideas that we were having, if this was our own, and it very quickly snowballed. We were catching up back end of 2019, and it was we knew early on what we wanted to do. We wanted to create a local feel radio station. We felt that was missing. Barry and I were based in different parts of South Wales, so straight away we didn't want to restrict it to one particular community, a local feel, but to a wider audience, which meant that we could, appeal to say, the whole of South Wales, from Pontypool, Newport Way to Cardiff, where I'm based, right through to Penarth, Barry, and the Vale, so we could go right into the valleys, and we could touch a wide ranging audience whilst maintaining a local feel. So yeah, we sat down back in 2019. So South Wales, we knew we wanted to launch in 2020. SW20 was kind of easy to land on in terms of a name. Very fortunate, Squee, in terms of the contacts. Both Barry and I in our professional careers are quite driven and had access to people that we could pick their brains and ideas. So in terms of branding, marketing, some of the ideas around the creativity, and it snowballed. And then fast forward just shy of 2 years, and here we are.
It was I think just after the year mark when I kind of joined the station. So for that first year, did you already have sponsorship on board? How did you kind of just get it up and running?
And that was one of the, I suppose, the conversations that Barry and I were having at the back end of 2019 was like, this pipeline dream of launching a radio station and sitting down, like, how can we realistically do this? From funding, the costs, pricing it all up, locations, studio, content, all of these kind of conversations we were having. And no, I mean, entirely self-funded by the two of us, to the large extent of it, until, we started growing and we started getting a bit of traction and followers on social media, and our brand was out there. That, that's when we could start to, very lucky with local businesses that, were willing to sponsor individual shows and content. We wanted to, we always said we didn't want to bombard listeners with radios. We didn't want to make it another commercial radio station. Otherwise, what's different about us to those that exist anyway? So we said we never wanted adverts. So the show sponsorship was a great opportunity for us to promote other local businesses. So we had like restaurants and cafes, a brewery based in South Wales that joined us as well, early doors. So that helped massively in terms of keeping us going, and I'm still very reliant, on those sponsorships and those guys as well. But yeah, entirely self-funded by the two of us early doors.
So were you paid in beer early on?
No, I actually had to buy loads of beer from them to kind of
sweeten the deal.
Yeah, in fact, I still am. So something's gone wrong there.
Or is that the excuse you tell the wife? I had to buy this beer. I had no choice. They're a sponsor.
Exactly, and I have to visit their brewery because it's far easier to do an in-person chat than it is over the line, on a phone. So and whilst I'm there, I might as well partake.
Oh yeah, you're not going to be rude, are you?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
No, so so I mean, like a wide-ranging list of businesses, and we still merchandise stores on our Scar show on a weekend to brewery, dog kind of like kind of walk-in companies as well. So it's incredible. The support's been really, really fab.
And I know from early doors you were involved in caring the community. You got RT on. And he needs the distraction. He needs to keep active. I'm worried about him otherwise.
We were, we were. I mean, we were really lucky. There were a couple of people that we knew from day one that wanted to come on the journey with us, and then most of the team were individuals that we'd never ever met. And Rog came on very early on. Initially to do a Saturday breakfast show, and then obviously lockdown happened and work commitments, so which extended to a Saturday and a Sunday. But like Rog was a godsend at the start, and still is, based on his knowledge of broadcasting, the sound, the sound knowledge, sound engineering skills, and it was just amazing. And then Susie, Leezy, all of those guys coming on very early on who we'd never met, but were so different in terms of their shows, their personalities, and it just created such a fab team. And that's what we said. We always wanted it. We didn't want to launch with minimal content. We wanted to get the team up and running. We wanted to launch with a wide ranging list of shows throughout the week. So the best part of 2020 was training the guys, getting them in, dummy shows, dummy runs, getting all the jingles and content there. And then so very, very fortunate to stumble across those guys. I'm still extremely grateful that they're still with us.
Yeah, don't let RT know I said it, but he is pretty good, that lad. And also, I never realised you've got a rhyming thing going on here. So you had Leezy, RT, Susie. I mean, I almost had to change the show to Squeezies, just to fit in.
I know. No, I know. That's maybe that should be a criteria. So,
you rhyme with the other hosts.
Exactly. I'll try. I'll think about some of the others now. Honestly, just incredible. And then the guys. I mean, there's too many to list them all, but they're such a fab team. And I mean, counting to the point where they were counting the number of shows that they were doing, show 20, show 30, to get to like show 52 as a week. And then now some of them are, over shows 100 and whatever at the moment. So it's, it's fab to see.
I mean, it's great. One thing which, when I kind of applied to join the station, I did feel like my show was something which wasn't on there already. There wasn't a kind of regular interview show, and it was kind of good to fill that niche. And it's also been really interesting for me to kind of get into Welsh content. So whether it's businesses I visited while I was up there, getting other people from the area to get involved in the show, or like my interview just heard on the audio version just before this interview with the Lord Mayor, which was fantastic. But speaking of the kind of different criteria of different shows, tell us about kind of diversity of shows which you've done, because I think that's one of the greatest selling points of SW20 is that each show's got its own USP.
Yeah, and you're right, they're all totally different. We've got, everything from, a couple of dance shows on Saturday evenings and throughout the week. We've got, shows like yourself with music, different themes, chat, guests, a recurring guest. And some of the lineup that, you've got, Squeed, that you bring us every Tuesdays, incredible. Susie's Chat and Tunes show on a Wednesday with games, requests, following. We've got a hugely successful Ska show on a Saturday, which actually started as a one-off in lockdown, just a one-off lockdown. Let's have some fun on a Saturday, and it just blew up. It was so popular that the demand for Andy to carry on has remained. So, new and independent music, indie slots, rock show, a country show, which Carl has just, gained a massive following within the UK country scene. So, originally a dance DJ for us on a Saturday night, wanted to branch into country, was just I had to sit down to kind of read that message. But very quickly started off mainstream country, realizing that actually there's a whole heap of talent that is kind of on the lesser known side, on under the radar here in the UK, that kind of Americana style feel, and he's just grown a massive reputation for the station and SW20 within that industry. From chat shows, request shows, all different. It's just rock, country, dance. It's fab. And then obviously we've got some great content on like Friday nights, 80s, 90s. Your kind of pre-weekend warm up which Barry hosts, and then then Sophie joined us then in terms of kind of your grime and your urban sounds, which is a whole whole other audience. So I think we're really lucky that we kind of appeal to quite a wide range in number of genres and fans and groups across social media, really.
Yeah, and I love just the Chris represents two groups very uniquely, because on his show he actually does play kind of real wide range of up-to-date tunes as well as kind of some classics, and then he puts on the videos, which makes me feel comfortable, because my dad dancing feels a lot better when I watch his. It's like I feel represented when I see his videos dancing along.
Yeah, no, it's good, and and I think it just the enthusiasm then that the other guys bring, and then their ideas of content and what they want to, they want to try different things. They want to, whether it's live streaming, whether it's using different platforms just to try and grow their own show, and then which, in turn kind of helps us as a station in terms of awareness as well. So it's genuinely really, really enjoyable and to see and witness.
No, it is absolutely brilliant. And I would say there's something that you mentioned there. So you started just before lockdown, but I think it was like out of all the bad which came out along lockdown, the coronavirus, I'm not trying to say it was a good thing, but one of the great things was all the amazing, talented content which came out during that time, such unique things. And I think that was a great time to introduce and grow a radio station during lockdown. Do you think that was kind of pivotal to the early success of the station?
Massively. And with hindsight, looking back, we'll never ever know, will we? I suppose what the difference would have been. But I think looking back with hindsight, it was probably the best thing to happen to us as a station. We were building up towards our launch, at kind of end of March, beginning of April in 2020, and we had, like, Rog was doing his Saturday show at the time, and we had these ideas then, Squee, of getting our friends and family into the station, celebrate, balloons, cake, local press were going to come down, and it was going to be like the launch of this new radio station here in South Wales. And then I make no exaggeration, I think it was probably the week before that, we then entered into a national lockdown, which kind of put that on the back burner. And it just got, conversations were happening between Barry and I, and it was like, we have to really, make a call of, actually, are we allowed to even, close that, visit the studio? We had to close that down. We had to make certain decisions. And fortunately, the way that we'd set up the station day one meant that people could host a radio show, and they could do it remote. They weren't restricted to just come into the studio. And then that was just a godsend, really, that we could do that for any new presenters and team members that joined us. And it was just fantastic. People were, either on furlough, or their jobs had changed, or they had just so much free time that they could sit in their kitchen or their living room and host their own radio station. And some of the team have just created their own studios, and the enthusiasm is just it's mind blowing. But it was a massive. It was an opportunity for us to force us to be different, to force us to be more creative, and we probably weren't hamstrung by legacy kind of ways of broadcasting previously, and we could go straight in and take advantage and do it day one.
Yeah, I remember, probably the same for a lot of people. Like, there was one show which was my in, and then I'd stayed tuned because there was great music being played during the day, other great shows. So I tuned in for Leezy because I've known him for many years now. And then, as I say, I just keep listening. And I know there's other people who would have come in for country show or the metal show or any other genre. But it's just, I think the fact that it's 24/7 broadcasting, there's always something new and different on there is what keeps people on there.
Yeah, and then when there's not a live show or a guest, the station's filled with content that's different. It's varied. It's we've got everything from your classics, your 70s, 80s, your 90s, your modern songs as well, your current chart hits. So no adverts. So it's just a continuous, wide ranging mix of music for everyone. Throw in the live shows that are totally different as well. So no, it's really good, and the schedule's jam packed. But I mean, even this week, speaking to new people, to people want to join our team and bring new different types of shows, is that's still happening, and that's great. So hopefully over the next coming weeks we bring more shows to the lineup.
Yeah, I was going to get on to what do you see the kind of future of the station? What kind of exciting plans have you got in the works?
I was thinking this. The obvious answer is growth in listeners, growth in the team, the brand, and that's easy, but you got to have the ideas to do that. I mean, just touching back on the pandemic, I mean, you could, if you split it up into, let's say the last 2 years, if you break it up into like 6-month chunks, no 6 months has been the same for us, with all the kind of easing of restrictions, opening, Christmas, 2020 was, very restrictive, and we had a whole range of shows on Christmas Day, a New Year's Eve show, and then this year was a bit more freedom. So naturally people wanted to go and do different things, or were spending time with friends and family. So we've never really had a consistent 6 months. So I don't really know what normal looks like for us as a station. But the honest answer is we started to do it last year, and it was amazing. Was us just being out on the road, out at events, public places. We had a fantastic day in the summer with Basketball Wales, who we partnered with.
Yes, I did want to touch on that.
We brought we hosted. They did a tour, a 3x3 tour that they were bringing all around Wales. We joined them on the Cardiff leg, provided all their entertainment, which was fab. We joined RT on his show in a gym in Pontypool for another non-for-profit organisation, and it was just being out and having that buzz and seeing people face to face and getting us out there, and that's something that we definitely want to do more of this year and beyond.
Yeah, I love the community links. It's like it starts with the community coming to you, and then it kind of continues with you going out to the community, which is just lovely.
Yeah, and like I said at the start, the fact that we're doing it in multiple locations, we're not tying ourselves down to one particular area of South Wales. So if there's an opportunity that arises, or people approach us to join them on an event or team up with them in a different part of South Wales, and we're massively up for that, and it's great. So the fact that we could go to Pontypool, we could go to Cardiff, it's just really exciting.
Oh, and one other I just want to give a shout out to is Leezy's Toy Drive, which he's done 2 Christmases in a row now. I'm sure it'll be back again this Christmas. That's an absolutely wonderful thing, raising money for children in hospital over Christmas.
I think, incredible. The success was, like, first year was mind-blowing. Just, I suppose, a little bit unexpected of what it was going to look like, and the donations. And we were just getting them from, it was turning up to the studio, and there were people that had dropped stuff off in these, like, literally massive black bags of toys. And, that was really exciting. And, the work that him and Rachel had done on that was the drive that he, literally driving that campaign. And then again this year, and I suppose, trying to better last year, you always want to do better. And that was a really high target that, Leesy set, and I just smashed it. And, I'm very fortunate, I live just down the road from where the charity's based. So, I went down and caught up with Leesy on both occasions, and just to see the vast amount of toys, but the appreciation and the support and the feedback, and, him getting the acknowledgement for that was fab.
Yeah, and I know, because I do the yearly 24-hour event that I do, and I know how much pressure you can put on yourself to best the year before. And Lisa was messaging me going like, I don't know if we're going to do as many as last year. I go, look, you've already done a huge amount. And then he just absolutely crushed it. And
amazing. I think, I mean, going off on a side note a little bit, but I suppose it shouldn't always be about the volume. It's just the concept, and it's the fact that there's, any form of donation, and they were just really appreciative of that. But yeah, I mean, turning up with a jam-packed. I mean, he had a bigger car this year as well than last year, so he was like, I'm looking forward to next year. So
I'll have to get a bus.
Yeah. So no, it's superb. But just little things like that. That's something now that I know Lees will champion and want to carry on with that. And if we can do other things like that, Squee, and if we can get involved in different aspects of charity, if we can, like I said, go out and promote us, but promote other businesses, get involved in different events. All for it. Live music. Let's get back to doing that a little bit more, I suppose.
Yeah, it'd be wonderful. So look, we're going to round up with a little game. So this is a game which I came up with when I was interviewing Bleezy Susie. Every time I'm going to get an SW20 presenter on here, we're going to do this. It's a little very silly rhyming game, basically, based on your name. So, for instance, with Bleezy Susie, I would say Bleezy Susie, it's like it has to begin with Chris Jones is, and you've got to say what the activity I'm describing that you're doing. So it could be Bleezy Susie is in a jacuzzi.
Okay.
But except for it'll be Chris Jones based. So it'll be rhyming with your name. Kind of make sense?
Yep, kind of.
Awesome. So, and by the way, there's no time limit on this. This is just torture until you get them all, or I give up. Okay, so your lack of time starts now. You're playing a game of dominoes by the old name for it. Like they used to call them like the last parts of the body to decay.
Bones.
Yeah, so you've got to say in full sentence.
Oh, as in Chris Jones is playing with bones?
Playing bones.
Playing bones.
It's an old-fashioned word for dominoes anyway.
Fine, okay.
Right, you're doing what E.T. did. Like he was famous for doing one thing.
Chris Jones is going home?
Phoning home, good enough.
Phoning home.
You're doing your hair in the morning.
Chris Jones is combing?
Using a comb. Close enough. You are, wow, what are you today, thanks to everyone being out of the house?
Alone. Home alone.
Chris Jones is home alone. Come on, full sentences.
Okay, sorry. Chris Jones is home alone.
You're eating a traditional British cake kind of thing. It's a little round thing you'd have with tea.
Chris Jones is eating a scone.
Yeah, you go. You're complaining.
Chris Jones is having a moan.
Yeah, you go. You're going to the bank for some money, which they'll lend you.
Chris Jones is...
The money that they lend you is called a...
Oh, Chris Jones is getting a loan.
There you go. You've just had your ice cream and you're eating the last part of it, which the ice cream sits in.
Chris Jones is enjoying his cone.
There you go. I wasn't going to put it in that way, but that's, that is an euphemism, ladies and gentlemen. It's perfectly clean. And finally, you're getting an exact replica made for you by science.
Chris Jones is getting a clone.
There you go. You see, Susie, was it that difficult? He flew through them.
How long did that take you?
What, coming up with them?
Yeah.
I was just me sitting in the kitchen while the coffee was like brewing, just going, clone, yeah, that rhymes, yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's no. Kept me on my toes. It's all good.
Thank you very much for sparing some time for us today. Thank you very much for SW20 Radio. I know I've got listeners both in Wales and around, so please do tune in. You can download the app no matter where you are in the world. It is a community field, but I think there's something for anyone to enjoy from anywhere around the world.
Exactly. Yeah. All friendly voices on the app, Alexa as well, multiple ways online. Yeah, much appreciated, Squee. Thank you. I mean, given your lineup of guests over the last couple of weeks, very, very honoured and thrilled to be part of one of them.
Yeah, you're on the same show as the Lord Mayor. Come on,
I know.
doesn't get too much better than that.
Very, I know, very, very esteemed guest. So no, much appreciated. Great to see you, and obviously great to chat to you as well.
Thank you very much, guys. Please download the app on Android or the iPhone, whichever correct store it is, or you can go to sw20radio.co.uk and tune into my show every Tuesday. SW20 Radio at 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. where we'll have a new and exciting guest. Thank you very much, Chris. I've been Dr. Squee. That was my show. And please, guys, remember, in a world where you can be absolutely anything, please be kind.